let's get started, and we are going to start laying down. So find your way to your yoga mat. As always, grabbing any extra props or support that you might need. And just perhaps finding your way to Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs outstretched. Maybe it's constructive rest pose today with your knees bent, tailbone kind of tucked under, or pelvis kind of tucked under. Knees bent with the feet standing up on the floor with your knees together at the center. You could always choose another variation. If you decided to have a chair as part of your practice today, you could always put your legs up on the chair as well. There are always so many options. So try not to overthink it, but just settling on in to a pose that feels restful and comfortable. And as you arrive, first taking a little body scan, noticing where the body's at today. Are you feeling tense or loose, or sore, or limber? How are things feeling physically today? Checking in with your face and your head. Checking in with your neck and shoulders, your throat. Do the shoulders and arms feel comfortable and relaxed? How about your hands? Letting go of any need to hold, grip, or brace yourself through your torso. Feeling into the hip joints, the pelvis at large, the glutes. Checking in with your legs and your feet. And then as one cohesive unit, just your whole body. Are there any areas feeling dense or light? Or maybe, if you're lucky, somewhere close to just right. And feeling your weight pressing down into the floor beneath you. Noticing your breath now. If it's available to breathe just through your nose, finding your proper oral posture, sealing your lips, slightly touching or parting your teeth, and then pressing or resting your tongue up on the roof of your mouth. Then imagine or sense some widening through your nasal passageways. So that air can begin to flow more easily through the nose. And sometimes it feels helpful to kind of clear the nostrils just by kind of exhaling with a little bit of force through your nostrils a couple times. So you're welcome to try that. Just kind of intuitively. And then see if that's helped at all. Draw the air down to the lowest parts of your lungs. Feel your belly expanding, rib cage widening with your inhales. And your body softening into rest with your exhales. Inhaling and exhaling here. Begin to contemplate an intention or dedication that you might like to hold today for your practice. Repeating that intention or dedication to yourself 3 times. And then we'll take 3 clearing breaths here when you're ready. We'll inhale through the nose and sigh with an exhale out of the mouth. 2 more like that, inhaling and exhaling. 1 more time. And then steady yourself back into a normal pace of breath. For a couple breaths here with your inhales, just opening the eyes. With your exhales, closing your eyes. Going at your own pace, inhaling to open your eyes. Exhaling to close your eyes. 1 more like that. Inhale as you open your eyes. Exhale as you close. Then when you're ready, just blinking your eyes open, fluttering your eyes a couple times. Let's start to rub the hands, palms of the hands together, create a little bit of friction and heat between the palms. Once you feel that warmth, go ahead and cup your hands over your eyes. You can blink them closed or open again here a couple times. We'll eventually have the eyes open behind the palms. So just kind of noticing the light from the cracks of the hands. And doing a little warm up for the eyes today. Let's keep the head steady, but just look with the eyeballs over to the right and then over to the left. So just laterally back and forth a couple times, looking to the right and looking to the left. Go ahead and do that a couple more times as long as it feels comfortable. And then when you're ready to move on, blinking your eyes and coming back to center. And then just looking down. And then looking up, looking down, and up. A couple more times if that's still feeling comfortable. And then blinking your eyes to come back to center. Now go ahead and circle your eyes in one direction. So just looking as far up and over, down and around as you can, going slow here. Then eventually switching directions, but first blinking to come back to center. And then again, circling around the other way. Blink your eyes a few times to come back to neutral. Then as you let your hand slide away from your face, just fluttering the eyes as you get used to the light of your space. Go ahead and bend your knees and stand your feet up on the mat here if they are not there already. Bring your feet to about hip width distance apart here. Press your hands down by your sides. Tuck your shoulder blades in underneath your chest so your chest kind of puffs up a little bit. Notice your low back and then tuck your tailbone and your pelvis under so that your low back is pressing down into the mat. So upper shoulders pressing down, lower back pressing down. Pick up all of your toes and spread your toes out, and then set your toes back down on the floor for a nice solid base. Feel all this downward pressure here through the arms, the shoulders, the feet, the hands. With your inhale, lift the pelvis, reaching those hip points up toward the sky. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Let's stay here for 3 breaths if you'd like. Exhale, staying here, keep pressing down and lifting. Inhale, soften your facial features, even if it feels like a challenge. Don't let your face show it. Exhale. 1 or 2 more breaths, your choice. And then when you're ready, lower down. Let's hug the knees in toward the chest here and find a little bit of massaging, rocking pressure, freestyling over that low back. So maybe a little rocking side to side or some circling of their knees. Just getting into those nice spots or noticing any soreness if you have anything going on. Just always kind of checking in with yourself and taking note, seeing if there's any way you can be sweetening your practice or challenging yourself more or whatever feels interesting to you today. All right, and let's find happy baby next. We can reach down, well, for one, you could just hold behind your thighs here and pull your thighs kind of in toward your chest, or you can reach down to grab the inside or outside edges of your feet. My favorite grip is to take the peace fingers, like you're making a peace sign, pointer finger, middle finger, wrapping around the big toes, your thumb kind of helping to keep that in place. Just pull your thighs toward the torso. Take a little bit of movement if you want, or just hold steady. Good, good. You can either stay here, or if it's available to you, maybe try straightening your legs, getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch going. Noticing the back of the legs, you can always hold on with a different grip, maybe to the back of your calves, or your thighs, or your knees. Check in with your breath. Take as big of a breath as you can. We're a little restricted here, but that's okay. One more breath in. And breath out, bending your knees, and then releasing your hands. Let your feet come down to the floor. Let's take a long body stretch, so extending the arms and legs in opposite directions, reaching and stretching. Point your toes, feel some stretch and opening through the tops of your feet and your ankles. And then flex your feet, pulling the toes back in. Go ahead and do that a couple times, pointing the toes and flexing the toes and ankles a couple times. Good, good. All right, let's roll over to either side, finding the fetal position for a moment. And then press your way on up to a comfortable seat. If it's possible to cross your legs here, you sure can, or let your legs go long. Let's bring our hands to heart center, and feel free to close your eyes if you'd like. Checking in here with a seated position. We'll let the right ear start to roll over toward the right shoulder, so maybe you start to feel a little opening through the left side of your neck. Then we're going to lift the head back up to center, and then bring your left ear toward your left shoulder. This time we're going to transition by bringing the chin down to the center of the chest, pausing there, and then rolling your right ear toward your right shoulder. Go ahead and experiment with any combination of those variations here, dipping the chin down to center and then to the other side, or kind of in a rainbow-like shape, bringing your head up to center, and then over to the other side. Either way, just rocking the ears toward their respective shoulders, noticing any loosening effects for the neck. And taking your time with this, you're always welcome to stay a little longer or end early on any of our poses. You can always add on your own flair here anytime you'd like. Let's come back to the center at some point here. With an inhale, reach both hands high, looking up if you want. And then exhale to circle your arms back and around, all the way down to the floor. Getting a little stretch through the shoulders. Fingertips can touch down to the floor. Let's reverse that. Inhale, sweeping the arms around and up. Take your time. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, hands go high. This time we're going to open arm twist toward the right. So the arms open up, we're twisting. This is an active twist here, so just as much as you can through the torso, looking and reaching to the right. Inhale, unwind and lift both hands high. Maybe the fingertips touch up top. Exhale, open arm twist toward the left. Let's do this a couple times. Inhaling to come to the center. Exhale, open arm twist to the right. Last time, inhale to the center. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. inhale, back up to the center. With your exhale, set your right hand down on the floor next to you on the right side and reach your left arm up and over, finding a side bend toward the right. We'll start really flowing with the breath here. We'll inhale to come up to the center before switching sides. And exhale, left hand comes down, right arm reaches. Go at your own pace now, just inhaling to the center. Exhaling to bend. Keep going. And since we started on the right, just making sure that your last one is on the left so we're nice and equal. And then coming up to the center, and then exhaling to lower your hands down to heart center. Good. Let's move along to hands and knees. So sweeping those legs around and back. Fingertips spread out nice and wide with the hands right below the shoulders and knees below the hips. With your inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your tailbone and your gaze, pressing up through the floor here. So your shoulders are kind of active. This is our cow pose. And exhale to round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, cat pose. Go ahead and flow with it, inhaling up to cow, gaze lift. And exhaling to cat, rounding the spine up, almost like you're kind of pushing the breath out, like you're drawing your navel in toward the spine with your cat pose. Keep going. Whenever you have had enough, let's find our way to extended child's pose with the knees out wide and the big toes touching behind you. Start to sink your seat back toward the heels. Lowering your head and heart toward the floor if that feels good today. If that feels a little too deep, you could try stacking your forearms and resting your head up on your stacked arms, or grabbing a block or two. Finding your way, see if you can just kind of melt into this pose. Notice how stretchy and expansive a nice full breath in and out here can feel. Reaching through the hands, feeling a little shoulder stretch if you want. Let's have about one more breath in. And one more breath out. With an inhale, start to rise back up to your tabletop, hands and knees. We'll get in place for our first downward facing dog. If you know me, you know I love using blocks for at least the first downward facing dog. If you're ever having an extra stiff day, this is a good place for your chair or the wall as well. So go ahead and experiment, curling your toes under either way. Start to pick up your knees and then reach that tailbone back and up. Come up to your tippy toes here first and foremost. See if you can get as much length from the tips of your fingers to your tailbones. We're kind of pushing into the blocks or floor. Take a couple big breaths. Make sure your breath is flowing. If you'd like, you can start to sink your heels toward the floor or even pedal your legs out here for a nice calf stretch. Just make sure your breath continues to flow. In my opinion, an advanced yoga practice is having kind of an awareness of your breath as much as you can. Of course, no one's perfect, but if you can really kind of create this sense of responsibility to the slow and steady pace of your breath, to me, that's what an advanced practice is. It has nothing to do with how difficult of shapes you're moving with your body. It's more about this embodiedness, this presence, this full, free-flowing breath. Let's take one more breath here. And then with an inhale, bending your knees, looking up toward your hands. Exhale, step or walk your feet to the top of your mat for ragdoll, forward fold. Your feet can stay about hip width distance apart or even widen out a little farther if you'd like. Let your upper body hang kind of loose here. You could grab opposite elbows if you like, maybe swaying. Just again, making sure you're breathing. Funny how easily sometimes that breath awareness can slip, especially when we're upside down. Maybe nodding your head yes and no a couple of times, finding that length through the back of the neck. Now, if you have your blocks or your chair in front of you, we're going to bring either the chair or the blocks up toward the top of the mat. You just need one block or two, or your chair. I'm going to use the chair because it's here. I'm going to press the left hand into the chair and then start to pull that right hand up. So we're ending in an upward twist. Bend your left knee a little bit here. And if possible, we're gazing up toward that right hand. So here's what it's looking like with the chair assist here. If you're using a block, your hand is just pressing into that block near the floor. Amazing how much a little extra space can help with this twist. And then we're going to switch sides, bringing that right hand now down to the chair or block. Bend into your right knee, and then start to open that left arm up toward the ceiling. Gazing up if that suits you. Notice anything that's happening for you. See if a little bit of abdominal engagement helps you to feel a little more stable. To me, if I engage the abs, it kind of even helps me twist a little deeper. One more breath in and out. And then bringing your hands down to your blocks or your chair. Curl your chin in toward your chest, bend your knees a little bit here, and then walk your hands up your legs as you start to come to a standing position. Once you arrive, let's take an inhale, bringing those shoulders up by the ears. With your exhale, circle your shoulders back and down. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, shoulders rolling up. Exhale, back and down. Just let your hands and the rest of your arms kind of do whatever they feel as you do that a couple times. I like to just kind of let my arms kind of wave around. Just feels nicer, but that's just me. Good. Now we'll get a little shake going. So just lifting and lowering the shoulders a little bit. You can kind of still keep a little circling motion or a back and forth kind of motion through the shoulders, through the lower arms too. We're getting a good deep kind of shake and bounce through the arms first. Then we can add on the rest of the body, maybe lifting and lowering the heels. Maybe shaking one leg and then the other. In Qigong, they have you like lift your hands up and then have your hands be, they have you lift your arms up and have your hands go floppy and just kind of like flop your arms around. It feels, it looks kind of silly, but it's supposed to be really good for your circulation. Does not matter what it looks like. All right, once you're done with your shaking and bouncing, let's find mountain pose. So look down at your feet, find a comfortable stance, pick up all your toes and spread them out, and then set your toes down and just notice what it feels like to have a nice solid base there through the toes. Draw your awareness up your legs, little micro bend of your knees, especially if you tend to hyperextend at all. Flip the palms to face the front of your space. Feel just a little bit of opening through the front of your chest and a little bit of an engagement between your shoulder blades behind you. Option to close your eyes here if that helps you feel your posture from a more internal perspective. Notice the curves of your spine. Sometimes when we pull the shoulders together behind us, we start kind of back bending, but we want to have a neutral spine. So just engage your core, knitting the rib cage together in front of you so you're nice and solid. Take a couple of breaths, strong and steady as a mountain. Let's take a clearing breath. Inhale through your nose. Sigh through your mouth. Inhale, reach your arms slowly around and up, joining your palms up at the top. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. We hinge at the hips here, puffing the chest up as we go. Release your hands down toward the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the knees, shins, or thighs. Exhale, hands come down to the floor, blocks, or chair. Step your right foot back first, and then your left, finding your high plank. Press all your fingers down into the floor, especially kind of that triangle shape between your thumb and your pointer finger. Press down there. One more big breath in. And exhale, lower your knees and lower your chest all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down into the mat. Slide your palms down and back so your hands are a little closer to the lower rib cage. If that feels like too much of a bend in your wrists, you could come up to the fists. Hug your shoulder blades and your elbows in toward the center line. With your inhale, let's rise up to find baby cobra. Head, shoulders, lifting. And exhale to lower down. We're strengthening the whole backside of the body here with your inhale, lifting up, baby cobra. Press the tops of your feet down. And exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, baby cobra. Option to stay here for your exhale. One more breath in. And exhale, lower down. With an inhale, press your way up to tabletop, hands and knees. And exhale to child's pose. Taking a few breaths. With an inhale, rise up, tabletop. Curl your toes under and exhale to downward dog. 3 big breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in. Last breath out. With your inhale, bend your knees and look up toward the top of your mat. With your exhale, just step the left foot forward. The left foot steps forward. All the toes are facing the top edge of your mat here. With an inhale, rise up to high lunge. So that left knee is bent, arms reaching high. You can have a little bend in your back knee here if that helps your low back feel better, or you can straighten the leg. Big breath in, feel your lower belly, your abdominals kind of hugging in. Exhale, warrior 2, arms spin wide, right foot, right heel spinning down to the floor. Keep bending into that left knee. Breathe and gaze just beyond your left middle finger. Feeling strong without moving your legs. Kind of pull your heels toward each other so you feel that inner line of the legs kind of activating. Don't be afraid of a little extra effort here for one more breath in and one more breath out. We're going to breathe at your own pace like normal. We're going to transition to our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So if you have your chair or you want to relocate toward a chair or ottoman, now is the time. I also highly encourage you to scoot a little closer toward a wall. So I'm just going to adjust a little bit. Go ahead and adjust as well. If you don't have a chair, you could use your blocks, but a chair is going to make it a little easier and more accessible. When you're ready, get back into that warrior 2 with the left knee bent. We're going to reach to place and plant that left hand on the chair in front of you. Then when you're ready, step up, kicking that right foot up. Opening the right hip up toward the front of your space. Right arm reaching high. Our toes, the right toes here are facing outward as well, so kind of parallel to the ground foot. The wall is really nice. You might lean into the wall a little bit here. You can feel how this is very much a strengthening and balancing pose. It's quite challenging, so just do your best here. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Go ahead and step the right foot back down to warrior two. With your inhale, let's reach both hands high. Spinning up on the right toes so you're facing the top short edge of your mat. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. Breathe like normal as you step to the top of your mat. Hands at heart. Take a breath in, maybe closing your eyes here. And taking a breath out, just notice. Breathe and come back to center. There's lots to notice. And then let's take a clearing breath, inhaling through your nose. Sigh to release. Inhale, reach your arms around and up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the floor or blocks. We're stepping the left foot back first and then the right foot to your high plank. Big breath in. And out. Last breath in. Breath out. Lower your knees, lower your chest. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat. Lower your hands way down, even coming to your fists if you'd like. So your fists are close to the low rib cage here. Pressing down, elbows hugging in toward your body, shoulder blades hugging in. Inhale, rise up to your baby cobra. Feel your strength, use some effort. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, rising up, baby cobra, pressing your fist down into the ground. And exhale, lower. One last time, inhale, baby cobra. Stay lifted if you'd like for your exhale. Last breath in. And exhale, lower down. Plant your hands or fists underneath your forehead. Give your forehead a little spot to rest. Let your heels splay out to the sides. We're in crocodile pose. And like your back is kind of widening outward from the spine out and around. Letting your back get wide with each breath and soft. Check in with your jaw. Becoming as soft as you can for one more breath. Bringing your hands next to your chest, press your way up to tabletop. And with an exhale, finding your way to child's pose. 3 breaths. Just about one more breath. Rise on up, tabletop. Take a breath in and exhale to downward dog. 3 breaths here. Inhaling, press into the floor. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. With your next inhale, bend your knees, look up to the top of the mat. Exhale, step just your right foot forward, giving it some help if it needs it. Bend your right knee. With an inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale. One last breath in, square your hips to the front of your space. And exhale, warrior two, opening up wide, left heel spinning down to the floor. Keep bending into that right knee, arms reaching in either direction. Breathe and gaze just beyond your right middle finger. When you're ready, getting into your position for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon on the other side. If you need to get up close to your wall or adjust where your chair or blocks are, go ahead and do that now. And then find your way back into your warrior two with that right knee bent. Reach the right hand forward until you can reach your chair or blocks. You can kind of step that left foot in a little closer first if you'd like. We want to keep that left hip opening. Press your right hand down, reach your left hand up, and then when you're ready, pop that left foot up, maybe to about hip height if you can manage that. You want to have this kind of stacked hip position here, so the left hip is open, the left foot is about parallel to the floor. Active arms here, active core. If there's a chance that this feels too easy, you could try to hover your right hand up off of the chair, giving yourself a little more strengthening and balancing. You could reach back for a bind, bending your left knee and grabbing onto your left ankle. Or just stay here, there's plenty going on. One more breath in. And with your exhale, find your way back to warrior two. Inhale, reach both hands up. We're twisting toward the back or towards the front of your space. So pivot on your back toes. So now we're back in our high lunge. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Breathe like normal as you step forward to the top. Both feet up at the top, hands at heart center. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stay here, halfway lift, exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, forward fold. With your inhale, it's reverse swan dive. So the arms reach wide. We're kind of unhinging at the hips. Reach your arms up, join hands overhead. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Maybe closing your eyes down here. Take a couple moments just to see how you're responding, how the body is responding, how your heartbeat is. Temperature of your skin. What else can you notice? Engage what needs engaging and soften what needs softening. Finding your balance. Let's take a big breath in. And a breath out. Go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready. Let your hands come down by your sides. We're going to find a yogi squat. If getting all the way down into malasana doesn't feel great for you, this is another good opportunity to use the edge of your chair. If you know the kind of squat you want to get into, just go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to offer up this chair variation here first. So feet will still come out kind of wide, but you'll kind of going to aim for your seat on the seat of the chair here. So feet or toes facing out, heels facing slightly in. Just go ahead and bring your hands down to your knees here first, squatting down, almost like you're about to sit on your chair. Just kind of hovering here for a moment, see what it's like to stay active in your kind of football squat. If you'd like, you can sit down on the edge of the chair and continue to kind of press your hands into your knees. That could get a lot of good, still kind of like hip opening going on here. If you want to go for some other variations, if you have your blocks handy, you could build yourself a little seat on any level of your blocks and lower down even farther. If you're getting all the way into your Malasana Yogi squat, we're going to press the elbows to the inside of the knees, puff your chest up as much as you can here, and make sure you're taking nice, kind variations for your body. You can always back out here or choose a different variation anytime. And we're going to head to a seat next. So in case you want to get there early, you know where we're going. See if you can take about 2 or 3 more breaths. And then when you are ready, coming down to a seat. Let your legs go long out in front of you here. Just kind of shake the legs out for a moment. Give the hips a little tap or the legs a little tap just to get things going. Showing your body a little love. Good, good. All right, when you're ready, let's lower down to your back. You can make it a little core challenge by reaching the arms out wide, kind of like you're holding that giant beach ball now in front of you. And just lowering down slowly if you want, or just get to the floor quicker if you'd like. You can make it harder by coming back up and then lowering back down a couple times, but only if you're looking for that kind of core work and body awareness piece today. Eventually, we're going to lower all the way down to the floor. Let your arms just rest wherever they fall. Let the back side of your body just greet the floor, soften. Just kind of enjoy this sweet moment after lots of effort. And you can either choose to get right into your final resting pose here, or join me in one more little section here, a little twisting section. If you want to join me, let's bend the knees and stand the feet up on the mat. Tuck your tailbone under, kind of set your pelvis back down here. Then just let your knees sway from side to side in a windshield wiper-like movement, feeling more of that massaging pressure over the very low back, the sacrum, the glutes. If you're twisting very far, maybe even the hip joints, the low back. A lot of action here through the lower body. And planting your feet down on the ground. Let's pick the pelvis up, scoot the hips way over, and then set down toward the left edge of your mat. And then allow your knees to start twisting toward the right. You might gaze over toward that left side, keeping the left shoulder grounded down on the floor. Your arms could stay outstretched here, or you could choose cactus arms, kind of changes the angle of the opening. You might feel through the arms. Cactus arms are just bent elbows. You're welcome to stay right here or add on a little fun bind. Taking the right peace fingers, so make the peace sign, use those fingers and your thumb to reach down for your left big toe, if you can reach. If not, maybe you grab that left knee. If you want to try this bind, we're gonna start to straighten or almost straighten that left leg out on the right side. Don't bother if it's not fun for you. Just stay where you're at. Just see if this feels nice. Maybe keeping a nice little bend of your knee. Maybe straightening a little more. Just make sure that you can still take at least a 50% full breath here. Just getting into that left outer hip and glute a little bit extra with the add-on. And then release when you're ready. Let go of the toe, stack your knees. bring your gaze up to the center, bring your knees up to the center. We're switching sides, so pick up your pelvis, scoot your hips way over toward that left edge of your mat now. And then let your knees twist down toward the left. Arms can reach straight out to the sides, or find those cactus arms again, bending your elbows. Maybe there's another variation that you just feel like trying. Go for it. You might turn your gaze slightly to the right if you like. See what it's like to just be here first. Know that you don't have to take the bind, even if you did on the first side. If you want to, take the left peace fingers and thumb, reach down to grab that right big toe. You could hold here. It's kind of a nice variation as is. Or start to straighten or almost straighten that right leg out toward the right side. Just notice, is it actually feeling good and interesting here, or are you just forcing yourself to be here? You don't have to force. Better yet, assess, suss out the best variation here, adjusting or holding. Just one more breath in and one more breath out. Release your grip, bend the knees, stack the knees, turn your gaze up toward the ceiling, and then bring your knees in. Shift so that your pelvis is back at the center of your mat. And if you have any last poses, movements, or stretches your body is wanting, you're welcome to move into those now. And then for our final resting pose, you'll have the option to do Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms outstretched, legs outstretched. If you have your chair still in your space, I invite you to try legs up on your chair. In restorative yoga, this is called instant Maui because it feels like such a nice vacation. So if you'd like, putting the legs up on a chair or ottoman or whatever stack of things you might have handy. And getting comfy in your final resting pose. Make it your own. Let your arms and hands find their own way. Maybe out to the sides or hands resting up on your body. Sometimes it can feel nice to interlace your fingers and rest your head in your hands. Just keep experimenting till you feel like you found the right spot. And blinking your eyes closed if you want. We'll spend a little time here turning your closed eye gaze up to the third eye center. So just kind of looking up toward the third eye, just between and above the eyebrows. Some call this the screen of the mind. For many people, the screen of the mind is just kind of like a dark and random, dark as in like light, not very much light, dark wise. Some people can see colors or kind of like a static effect. Some people who are especially gifted in visualizing can actually start to visualize different colors, objects, people, etc. So just pause here, try to soften your body and just gaze upon this screen of the mind. Seeing if there's anything nice for you here. And just, if it does appear just black for you, or maybe some slight shadows or colorations where the light kind of is coming in, just let that be enough. No need to force any visualizations here, just seeing what is. And holding your gaze here at this drishti, this unmoving focal point here at the screen of the mind, sometimes can be a bit challenging. So just checking in with yourself and seeing if it still serves you. Practicing focus. Practicing presence. Practicing rest. And go ahead and stay here as long as you'd like. Eventually, when you're ready to start moving along, just bring some small little wiggles into the fingers and toes. Maybe rub your thumb across the fingers. Maybe run your tongue around the gums. And a few times through, inhaling to open your eyes a little bit. Exhaling to close them. Just kind of smoothing this transition, inhaling, opening your eyes. Exhaling to close. Eventually fluttering your eyes open. Maybe heading into a long body stretch, or if your legs are up on a chair, maybe you just kind of straighten your legs up. And then rolling over to either side, finding your fetal position, coming off of that chair if you were on one. Let your bottom arm be a pillow for this last breath here. And then press your way on up to a comfortable seat. Maybe keeping your eyes closed here and joining your hands in front of your heart. You're welcome to join me in our closing chant, singing, chanting, humming, or just listening along with me to Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you'd like to join me, let's take a breath in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Together, bringing thumbs up to third eye center, just between and above the eyebrows, that screen of the mind. If you're with me here and you'd like to take a little bow forward with gratitude, we can bow forward now. Peace. All right, thanks everyone.